Dr. Mindy here, and on this video, I'm going to talk about the 5 foods that will sabotage weight loss. And they're going to surprise you. These are ones that you're probably doing thinking they're helping you lose weight. Okay, here are the 5. Ready? The first one that I want you to stop doing, drinking, eating, thinking that it's going to help you lose weight is diet anything. So specifically something with NutraSweet in it. And here's the challenge with NutraSweet. A, it's an obesogen. It's a little hard to wrap your head around that perhaps, but it is a chemical. An obesogen is a chemical that will block insulin receptor sites. It'll make you insulin resistant. So the first thing is that it moves you in the direction of insulin resistance, but that's not it. That's not all. The second thing that it does is it spikes hunger. So there's a ton of research showing that NutraSweet, when it goes up into the brain, will stimulate the hunger hormone called ghrelin. And when ghrelin goes up, hunger goes up. And all of that happens from a chemical that we think we're doing to reduce calories down, and that ultimately is going to help us with weight loss. And it doesn't. So stop your diet everything. Stop your chemical-laden foods that is only contributing to more weight gain. It is not helping you lose weight. Okay? So that's number 1. Number 2, I've talked a lot about this particular ingredient here, and it's so important. And it is your bad oils. I cannot tell you enough that if I came into your house and I swapped out all of your oils, I promise you, you wouldn't even taste a difference. So we've got to get the bad oils out and get the good oils in. I have left videos on that. I have left lists in the Fast Like a Girl book on Instagram and Facebook and the community page here. I've created squares for you of good oils, bad oils. Please, 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 if you are trying to lose weight, you got to get the bad oils out. So that's number 2. Okay, number 3 is going to surprise you, I hope, like number 1, and that's these commercial fake keto foods. So just like the gluten-free movement became so popular about 5 to 10 years ago, we started to see some of the main food companies make their version of a gluten-free product. And when you dove into those ingredients, you actually saw that they were chemical laden. They were not healthy. So just because something was gluten-free didn't equate to a healthy food. Well, the same thing is now happening with our keto products. More of the mainstream food companies are starting to bring in these keto products. So please do not fall prey that just because it says keto on it, that it's going to help you lose weight. A perfect example of this, I saw this like a summer ago when I was on vacation, was a commercial bread company had a keto bread. And I was like, wow, my God, it's really gone mainstream. And I picked it up and I looked at the ingredients and they were just chemical after chemical after chemical. So you have to remember, when you take fat out of something like our low fat, they put chemicals in. When you take sugar out, they put NutraSweet and chemicals in. When you take carbs out of a food product, they're going to put a chemical in. So you're better off using nature's food, using like things like protein and vegetables and your low glycemic fruits. Everything that I taught you in the Fast Like a Girl, the ketobiotic style way of eating, you don't need a fancy keto food to be able to eat successfully the ketogenic diet. And for some of you, I mean, think about this for a moment. You might be drinking your Diet Coke, eating your keto pre-commercialized keto foods, thinking you're doing all the right stuff, not really loving the taste of it, and then discovering that you're not losing weight. So I'm trying to prevent you from that. Please don't fall prey to those commercial keto foods. Okay, number 4, this is another one that shows up all the time, which is juice cleanses. So I can't tell you how many times in my clinic I would see people come in and they'd be like, you're going to be so happy for me. I'm on a juice cleanse. And my brain would go, oh no, God, what kind of juice cleanse are you going on? The only juice cleanse that I could see that is metabolically okay would be like a green juice cleanse. But the minute you add in fruit, you're now tipping the scale away from this fat burner into a sugar burner. So when we add the pineapples, when we add apples, when we add oranges, and we juice those, you're getting more than the actual fruit itself. So if you're going to do a juice cleanse, it's got to be green juices. That's it. Even beets and carrots are going to be high in sugar, and keep you over here in the sugar burning energy system. So juice cleanses, although your stomach may flatten because you're not eating, they're not a long-term benefit to weight loss. Okay, and the last one, the fifth one, and I hope you guys know this, but I gotta point it out, and it is the refined flours and sugars. If you and I were standing in the grocery store and you were like, hey, just give me the basics on how I lose weight, I would basically tell you, eat nature's foods. Things that come from the ground are going to be way better than things that came from commercial warehouse, from man. Man-made carbs are going to put on weight. Nature's carbs are going to help you lose weight. Just because we call them a carb doesn't mean that they're the same thing. So really look at the refined flours and sugars. It doesn't matter if it's gluten-free or not. It's going to have, the more we process a flour, the more we process a sugar, what we're doing is we're bringing up that glycemic index and we're keeping you over here in sugar burner a little longer. Remember, I wrote about this in Fast Like a Girl, where I want you to learn how to metabolically switch, going back and forth between sugar burner and fat burner. So if we're eating refined flours and sugars, you're really spiking your sugar burner system, taking it much longer. You have to fast a whole lot more to be able to move you over into this fat burning system. What I know from all the hours of research I've done on fasting is that I can tell you that it takes about 16 hours for somebody to overturn this Western diet of eating the wrong oils, eating high refined flours and sugars. It's going to take a consistent dipping into 16 hours of fasting to be able to undo the metabolic damage that type of diet provides you. And some of you who have been doing the Western diet, the bad oils, the refined flours, the toxic ingredients, you're going to need to start to learn how to do some 36-hour fasts to start to undo that whole metabolic system. Because the more bad oils, the more refined products, flours and sugars, the more toxins, the more you are ingraining yourself in a sugar burner system and leaving out the fat burner system. So this is, again, what Fast Like a Girl is about. I've given you a lot of videos here on that. But there are your 5 things, okay? So no diet drinks. Deal? No NutraSweet. Let's get off our keto food. Let's get away from our bad oils. Let's start to look at juice cleanses as maybe something we do for very temporarily with the green juices only. And then let's make sure we get rid of refined flours and sugars. If you do that and you start to pair that to a fasting lifestyle, you will lose weight. I promise you. Put in the notes on this video what I want to see from you all. How much weight have you lost building a fasting lifestyle? Let's blow up the comments. I want to see it because it just blows my mind every time I look at your comments. I am just so in awe of how much weight you can lose when you take a sensible diet and you map it to the different fasting lengths and you learn how to switch in and out of those two. It's like magic. It's not complicated. You just need to know how to proceed into this metabolic switching so that you are really successful at it. This video goes with another video, which is what is causing me to be so tired. And so I really wanted to break down tired because so many of you are telling me how easily tired you are. And there's a lot of different reasons. So I want to start pecking away at the reasons so you can figure out for yourself what might be the driving root cause behind your tiredness. So on this video, let's go through the 3 worst foods you could eat that will only contribute to you being more tired. So let's start with what you need to avoid. Because what I found is if we get rid of these foods and then we combine that with something as simple as 13 to 15 hours of fasting every day, your mitochondria come back online and you get that energy back. Those of you that are trying to fast and you're still tired, you've got to avoid these foods. So the first part of understanding food and its effect on your energy levels is to know what the different macros do to your blood sugar. So let's look at a carbohydrate. Part of why we villainized carbs so much is because the refined carbs, refined flours, the cakes, the cookies, the pastas. So many of those cause your blood sugar to rise very, very high. When your blood sugar goes high as it goes is as low as it goes. So when you look at the standard Western diet where people are eating oatmeal for breakfast or bagels for breakfast or breakfast cereals, what happens is early on in the day, they're gonna get this high spike, but by 10 o'clock in the afternoon, or in the morning, they're gonna end up with a dip. And that's gonna make them hungry and it's gonna make them tired. So the first step is to get rid of the refined carbohydrates. So the first worst food is really a category. It's get rid of all the processed, refined flours and sugars. This is even gluten-free. And you guys have probably heard me say this on other videos. You may have never heard me say it in relationship to being tired. You know, for years in my clinic, I was able to take somebody who was chronically fatigued and pull refined carbohydrates out. And that one diet change alone, they would turn their carb focus on nature's carb. Fruits, the lower fruits like berry fruits and apples, those lower glycemic fruits are really nourishing for your body. They don't tend to put you on this roller coaster. Get people off flour, get them off the cereals, get them off the cakes, the cookies, the sweets. Get them off all of that, and all of a sudden their energy came back online. So that's how powerful this first step is. Okay, second step I want you to think about is protein. So protein, by the way, has less of a spike, so it's gonna have a more steady spike. Well, here's what's interesting about protein is when we lean into things like animal protein, it provides amino acids for us. And amino acids can actually start to fuel the mitochondria inside our cells and help us make more energy. So we need enough protein. We need protein to build muscle, but we also need protein to stimulate those mitochondria so that they end up making enough ATP for us to be able to function in the world. When you look at the mitochondria in the brain, they really need amino acids because that's what's going to help with mental clarity. And so much of your mitochondrial energy is being put towards your brain function. So when we go to protein, this isn't so much a food to take out, but this is a food I want you to add in, which is as many different versions of animal protein as you can. If you're vegetarian, sit tight for a moment. I want you to add in and look at eggs, for example. Eggs have a lot of choline in them, which will help with brain function. I want you to look at every couple of hours in your eating window, are you leaning into some proteins? Like I do rolled up turkey all the time, or I'll do slices of antibiotic-free salami. I do Paleo Valley's beef sticks. Those are my go-to throughout the day. Now, when we do protein, we want to do them in small amounts throughout the day so that they keep our blood sugar more stable and give us more energy. So the thing you want to avoid with protein, and especially when we look at a fasting lifestyle, is that when we're compressing our eating window, and then all of a sudden we put 150 grams of protein into a 1 hour eating window, that's overload for the system. So when you're doing protein, make sure it's clean, free of antibiotics, hormones. Make sure you're varying your protein, and then make sure you're divvying that protein up throughout the day, not like one big steak sitting down to a meal at night. That would cause you more fatigue. You're gonna have a big spike and then you're gonna have a crash. For those of you that are vegetarian, you're definitely with protein. You wanna lean into more of like the hemp seeds, the chia seeds. Quinoa has a lot of protein in it. Of course, mixing quinoa with beans and adding a good fat in there will stabilize your blood sugars as well. And for vegetarians, I really recommend an amino acid supplement. And we'll put links in the notes here so you can see my favorite one. Okay, last food I want you to think about when it comes to fatigue, and that's fat. So again, when we go into the bad fats, we don't necessarily get the right glucose and insulin response. A good fat, like an avocado, when you eat an avocado, it shouldn't do anything to your blood sugar. Your blood sugar should stay stable, like this blue line right here. So when we eat soybean oil, or we eat canola oil, or cottonseed oil, or corn oil, you're going to have more of a response like you do with a carbohydrate. So when we look at fats, the trick here for energy and to get you out of this easily tired space is that we've got to lean into more good fats and avoid the bad ones. I literally, when I go out to dinner with my functional medicine doctors and we're navigating a menu, we seriously, the number one thing we look for, we even tell the waiter that we are allergic to canola oil. We cannot do canola oil. They want to put canola oil in everything. And that is going to be one of those food categories that is going to create this response for you. So when you go out to eat, what you want to look at is what is the quality of the oil that they're serving you, because a toxic oil is going to give you a blood sugar response as high and low as a carbohydrate. So let me summarize this, because those of you that have been around on my channel for a while, this is the next level information I want you to know so you can keep your energy up, you can get a lot out of your fasting lifestyle. If you're brand new to my channel, you might be like, whoa, that was a lot of information. I don't really know what to do with it. So let me summarize it for you. Carbs. We want nature's carbs. We don't want man-made carbs. Protein. We want clean proteins, and we want small amounts of protein throughout the day, ideally 20 to 30 grams throughout yet each little meal. Every couple hours is best. And when it comes to fat, we want to add in the good fat and take out the bad fat. When you do those three things and you pair it with even something as simple as intermittent fasting, 13 hours of fasting, your energy should go through the roof. If it doesn't, then go back to the video that I did showing the different reasons that energy tanks, because you might need to brainstorm for yourself what one of those four things I talked about in that video, which one may be depleting your energy. But this is like basic, like everybody should be doing this type of nutrition. It doesn't matter if you're vegan or carnivore or what your nutritional habits are. If you want to bring your energy up, these are the 3 steps that will greatly impact blood sugar level and make it much easier for you. Okay, I got to interrupt this video because I have a free guide for you so you can master fasting. It's called A Beginner's Guide to a Fasting Lifestyle, and all you've got to do is click here and you can jump right in. I'm going to start with like my biggest pet peeve. When I first started working about 20 years ago with patients on nutrition, this is before working on nutrition was popular, I found that there were 2 things consistently that people were doing for breakfast, having for breakfast, that they thought was healthy. And they were so proud of it. And it was a metabolic disaster. So you have to remember, when we're looking at longevity, one of the key markers to longevity is keeping your glucose and insulin low. If you have blood work, what you want to see is a hemoglobin A1C that's under 5. You want to be closer to 4.5 for graceful, energetic aging. So these 2 breakfast foods were destroying your people's metabolic profile. Ready for the first one? Orange juice. Everybody thinks, I'm going to have a glass of orange juice in the morning. It's going to be so healthy for me because it raises vitamin C. I have no idea where the orange juice, lobbyists are out there, but somehow we got it nailed in our brain that this is healthy and you got to get rid of it. And let me tell you why. Look at this as a cup of sugar. It's literally a cup of sugar. When you drink it, your blood sugar is going to spike and then it's going to crash a couple hours later. And it's going to put you on this massive metabolic up and down. And that is absolutely destroying your insulin levels. I'm going to even go as bold as to tell you that orange juice is making you insulin resistant. And the fact that you would have it in the morning is setting you up for a day of metabolic failure. So let's get rid of it. I got a sink right here. I'm just going to pour it out. Let's get rid of that. Second thing that everybody wanted to eat, and for the longest time I was like walking around my clinic going, why does everybody eat this for breakfast? There's so many other things you could eat for breakfast, let alone how important fasting could be in the morning. But the big thing is oatmeal. Now, before you click off and you're like, wait a second, oatmeal. I love my oatmeal. I feel like people love oatmeal more than they love orange juice. But it's the instant oatmeal that is the worst. I don't care if you're buying it from the healthiest store in the world. What we find with anything that's instant is that it's not going to have as much fiber in it. These tend to typically have some sugar in them. This one I actually bought from a local health food store, and it had coconut sugar in it, plus a couple other like interesting sugar substitutes in it. Still is going to spike your blood sugar. Because it's instant, it has been refined, so there's less fiber in it. So every time, think about that. In the morning, you're having your oatmeal and you're having your orange juice. You think you're being healthy, but really what you're doing is creating this massive, huge spike in your blood sugar. Now, if you don't believe me, I'm going to ask you to either put a CGM on, continuous glucose monitor, and look at it for yourself. See it with your own eyes. If you don't have the resources for a continuous glucose monitor, get one of those like blood sugar readers and take a measurement before you have your orange juice, take a measurement before you have your oatmeal, and then half an hour later, take another measurement and look at the delta of those two measurements. Because your blood sugar doesn't lie. It will show you how much those two foods spike your blood sugar, putting you down a poor path to metabolic health. Slowing aging at the root of longevity exists stable blood sugar, low blood sugar, ability to metabolically switch. So those are the first two. Okay, second, I'm just going after all the food today. I know I don't mean to upset you all, but I want to help you become healthy. Iceberg lettuce. There's no nutritional value in iceberg lettuce. But here's the challenge. I see this when I go out to conferences to speak, is that when I go to a restaurant and I ask for a salad, most of the time the salad will come with iceberg lettuce. There is very little nutrients in iceberg lettuce. And if you get it from a conventional farm, it's the same thing. Or it's even worse. The ways that we are conventionally growing our fruits and vegetables are deficient in microbes, they're deficient in minerals and vitamins. And I don't know, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong if you're a farmer out there. I don't know a lot of regenerative farms that are growing iceberg lettuce. They're growing more of the mixed greens, more of the exotic lettuces, some of the new lettuces that are appearing. We get one of our favorite lettuces comes from, and I'm going to give them a shout out because I love them, is Spade and Plow. And when I go and get lettuce from them, they're our local farmer. Oh my gosh, I've never even heard of half of these lettuces. They are grown in regenerative farms. A salad appears to be healthy, but if you're doing it with iceberg, it's got no nutrients in it. A salad that's got all of these exotic lettuces and maybe some dandelion greens and some parsley and a lot of mixed greens in it grown from a regenerative farm, you can call them both salads, but they're completely deficient in how they're going to support your health. One will rob you of health. This does nothing for you, depletes you of nutrients. One will add to health. And we call them both salads. Okay, other one that I want to talk about is the potato. Now, hopefully if you followed me long enough, I am a huge fan of the sweet potato. I'm also a huge fan of making sure that you're eating a variety of potatoes. And here's why. The sweet potatoes of different colors and potatoes outside of just the russet all have a resistant starch in them. And this resistant starch actually will go into the lower part of your large intestine and feed the microbes in your large intestine. A conventional russet potato grown from a conventional farm is going to be just a big starch bomb. And you're going to, same thing as the orange juice, same thing as the oatmeal, you're just going to see a glucose spike, and then you're going to end up seeing that glucose is going to dip and you're on that metabolic roller coaster. So Now, if you had a russet potato from a regenerative farm, if you mixed it with a variety of potatoes, if you mixed it with a variety of sweet potatoes, that's what I do in my house. I actually will chop up all the different colored sweet potatoes, all the different colors of regular potatoes, put them together and bake them. Now we're working with a different avenue towards health. We're not depleting health, we're adding to it. And my blood sugar will stay more even that way. A conventional potato, not a lot of nutrients in it. You add margarine to it, which a lot of people are doing it, and now you literally are killing yourself. So there's that. Okay, last thing. So, and I've got one other concept, so hang in here. When we go to eat vegetables, what I find is that most people reach for these two vegetables. They reach for our carrot sticks and they reach for our celery sticks. And we eat these over and over and over again. There's a common theme in this video, which is these types of foods that are conventionally grown are not only not adding to your health, they are depleting your health because they have no nutrients and they take energy from you to be able to digest them. So they can tank your minerals, they can tank your vitamins. But the other part, and the reason that I am bringing these two out, is what I find is that when you say to somebody, eat more vegetables, they go to these two. There is something called monoculture, where when we eat the same vegetables over and over and over again, we take our microbial diversity, we take the incredible health benefits of the microbes in our gut, and we start to create a subset of microbes that are flourishing, allowing the other microbes to fall away. You create a monoculture. When we look at what we need to stay microbial health in optimal order, which, by the way, your microbes in your gut support your immune system. They regulate your blood sugar. They give you neurotransmitters for your brain. It's really important that you feed them. You don't want to do the same things over and over again. This here, and I know we're a worldwide audience, but this is the standard American diet right here. People think that they're eating these and they're healthy, and they're eating them over and over and over again. And what's happening is that they're creating a really small diversity of microbes in their gut, and they're missing out on the key microbes that help you break down estrogen, that make serotonin for you, that help support your immune system. We've got to open up your diet. Stop eating the same things over and over again. So if you've been eating carrots and celery for your whole life, it's time to try something different. Try some red pepper, some yellow pepper, eat the colors. Try some cucumber, try adding more salads, but let's stop eating the same thing over and over again. If you have never eaten these and you're like, oh wait, so I shouldn't eat celery or I shouldn't eat carrots. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that it's the overuse of these vegetables over and over and over again that's aging us. We are missing out on the miracles that vegetables can create in our body, and especially for longevity. So hopefully in this video you see a theme, which is these are the classic go-to health foods that we see, especially here in America. We have a small subset of these health foods, and we keep doing them over and over and over again. It's spiking our blood sugar, causing our metabolic health to be a mess, and it's destroying our microbiome. And when you have a metabolic situation and a deficient microbe, you have a body that is aging quicker than it needs to age. It all comes down to that simplicity. As always, I'm really working to give you things that you can do at home, that you can start to make better choices for yourself, so that you don't just lose weight. I mean, if you want to lose weight, I really am cheering you on, and I know you can do it. But I also want to say that it's time for you to learn how to use fasting, how to use food to improve your immune system, to improve your mental health, for women going through menopause. How do we use this complex system of food that we have available to us to be able to help balance our hormones? There's so much to learn there, and we are living in a health food illiterate world where we think a salad means just grab some iceberg, and we think that when we put margarine on a potato that that's actually healthy for us. It's not. We've got to start thinking outside of the box, and I hope that this video started that process for you. So, as always, if you want to know more of this information, join me in my Reset Academy. We are teaching everything from food to fasting, everything you need to know about a fasting lifestyle in the greatest detail that I know how to bring you. But more importantly, don't give up on yourself if you're living in a body that you don't love and doesn't feel good. I want you to think outside the potato box. I want you to think outside the iceberg lettuce box. I want you to expand your food choices so that everything in your body works better and you love living in this glorious machinery that you've been given to live in for the entirety of your life. So, as always, I hope that helps. And if you want to join my academy, just put Reset Academy in the notes and my team will send you a link. What I'd love to know, for those of you that are like experts here on my channel, what vegetables do you love? Okay, let's think outside the carrot and celery box. What vegetables do you love? What's your favorite potato or what's your favorite lettuce? Let's start a conversation on here so we can really all learn from each other, because sometimes there's things that I don't even know, and it's fun to hear what you're experimenting with when it comes to foods that promote your health. Okay, where are my gals that are struggling with hormonal imbalance? Bloated, feeling like you're not making progress with weight loss? You need to add these foods in so that you can support better hormonal health. There is a lifestyle that estrogen wants you to live, and there's a lifestyle that progesterone wants you to live.